Oh my goodness, this is weird. Okay, now I know how Ron felt last week, but this week Ron is not here, just like I was not here last week. Um, so last week I was actually at a self-improvement event with Tony Robbins called UPW. I have no clue what he said, but Thursday was the very first day of it, and I was like, I need to focus. I want to get implemented and really, you know, do things. Oh, pardon me. Being self love week, I feel like I can say this. Do something for me and kind of cut myself off. I don't know if any of you cared to reach out to me. I don't know who cares. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if anyone tried to reach out to me, I was probably like less likely to reply. Um, what Thursday to Sunday was the event, and then I was flying. So if you looked at my stories, you saw that I had a layover in DFW there and back. Oh goodness, I should not have had Sprite. Whew, whew. All right, but nonetheless, so I did some personal growth last week. Ron is working this week. Welcome to our one and only viewer we have watching on the Laws of Life with Blanca. Thank you to the Laws of Life with Blanca, who is our great sponsor every single week, or producer, correct words. She's our producer every single week, and her engineer Kirill helps us out, and they are amazing. Like, she made these awesome things that go across, and everything that is on here. Like, I cannot do this alone, y'all. I mean, they've taught me a lot, and I'm gonna do something cool one of these days. But couldn't do it alone. Very thankful for everyone we have behind us, including Ron. I think that's what I was saying. I get distracted too easily. But yes, he is working right now, going to get a bid for one of his paint jobs. If anyone saw his Facebook, he is doing painting jobs now. And yeah, so reach out if you're in the area or not in the area. Maybe we'll come to you depending on how far you are. Goodness. Nonetheless, um, so today, self love. I have Joe Petroski with me. Hopefully, I said that right. And yeah, he's a very intuitive man. And honestly, uh, I hope to be as awesome as you are one day, Joe, with my energy healing and stuff. And I'm just starting out. I only do tarot cards right now. But yeah, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today and taking time out of your sure busy schedule. Well, I know busy schedule, but so yeah, welcome. Thank you for
Well,
being here.
thank you for the invitation. I look forward to it.
Heck yeah. So
hmm
hopefully we honor you and your brand here today. To get started, do you want to just, introduce yourself, what it is you kind of do, and different things like that?
Sure, sure. They call me the soul connector, and the reason is that I can actually, when I look at people, I can see the absolute best things about you. I can see your talents, your desires, your passion, how you learn, how you communicate, and then I can see the blocks that you have that are preventing you from living that to your fullest. And so, what I like to do is through physical pain elimination and emotional pain elimination, I help to bridge you to connect to your soul, to connect to your purpose, to be able to live that fully. And so, yes, that is what I do. Mhm.
Oh wow. And that is awesome. You're definitely, as I was reading your bios, you have a gift from God. Um, I
Mhm.
would say that is very, very
Oh, mhm,
powerful.
definitely, definitely. Mhm. Yeah, I had found out about it. I was actually sent home to die. The doctors gave up on me after working with me for 6.5 years. I was on oxygen for almost 2 years, and they knew that I had less than a year to live, and I would probably end up killing myself because it would become that painful and that horrible. And luckily for me, I didn't give up, and I kept trying. And I met this incredible Chinese healer, and I went to his students. And after the second hour, I was off the oxygen. After the third, I was completely healthy. And then I started to study with him, and I became
Wow.
one of his best teachers. And so, with Creator's help, I mean, it is Creator coming through me. That's all it is. I just let Creator come through me. And as I do, we can eliminate very, very serious illnesses and pain quite quickly, sometimes in 1 or 2 sessions. And then the coaching work, what I'd like to do is, if it takes longer than that, or if people have issues that they want to do, they want to overcome, they've been getting only so far in their careers or their relationships, what I like to be able to do is coach them through that. Because we were all born miracles. We were all born amazing, beautiful miracles, and we get to live that way. And when I throw my arms up in the air, the profoundly living, we get to live that. Mediocrity is just a slow death. Mediocrity is no good, you know. And so when you're talking about self-love and such, I'm actually working with a woman right now. She's 82 years old, and it's the first time she's ever been able to say that she's loving herself and she's accepting herself. And it's a,
Wow.
you know, she's an amazing woman with a huge CV resume. I mean, it's amazing what she's done, and to be able to see that now, it's fantastic. It's absolutely wonderful.
That is absolutely awesome. I love that. Is that your not to sidetrack or anything, but is that your oldest client you've ever had, or have you had anyone older than that?
Oh, yeah, I've had older than that. Yeah. And usually with pains and illnesses, I'm trying to think. Well, there was somebody that I worked on that was 91, but
Wow.
that was just a friend's mother, you know. And but yeah, you know, it was a client, and um, mhm.
Do
the
you know
young.
by
Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, please.
I was going to say the youngest was a 6-week-old baby, and
Okay, wow.
mhm, yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, I can only imagine. That's incredible. Do you know roughly how many clients you've had over
Um, Goodness sakes. Before I had
just
a
more curiosity?
well, you know, I've taught in a lot of situations where I'll actually give presentations, and so if you include the presentations and my workshops and classes, well over 1,500, 1,600 people over the time. Mhm,
Wow.
mhm.
That's awesome. So you're leaving a legacy behind, is what I would say.
Yeah, and that's really what I want people to understand is that I'm not the only one like this. There are also really incredible, awesome healers out there, and I want people to understand that this is possible. There's lots of, unfortunately, currently everybody and their mother's a healer. You know, people have gotten Reiki certifications, but very often it happens in 1 or 2 weekends. And I'm just like, okay, hold on a second. You cannot learn how to dance really, really well in 1 or 2 weekends. You can't learn how to play the flute in 1 or 2 weekends. How on earth can you master energy healing in 1 or 2 weekends? And because I
Yeah.
studied before I got my master's certification, I had studied 3.5 years, and I was studying 3 to 5 days a week for 3 to 4 hours a
Wow.
day. So I've made it my life, and I've been lucky enough to train with a Chinese energy healer, and then I sat with a Native American healer, and between those two gentlemen, I learned quite a bit. And then I've spent, you know, the last 22 years immersing myself and talking with people like Dr. Bruce Lipton. He and I have had some great conversations. Dr. Dean Rodden, he and I spent a lot of time together. Dr. Norman Shealy. There's a lot of incredible healers out there, and I ask people to really look. Don't give up. If you're dealing with something, you know, it's your life. You only have one to live. Keep trying. Keep trying.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mhm.
Um, wow. Because I'm definitely looking into my next step. So it's interesting that you say that. Because I've all I've done is tarot readings, but I can feel like I need to do like something more, and eventually going on the coaching and like helping people healing side. So um, yeah, I might have to talk to you afterwards and see like
Mhm.
what your recommendations are, how you found these places, because yeah,
Mhm.
definitely not a weekend find. That's all you can find. Um, and
Well, it can start there with my workshops. I'll be teaching in June, And with my workshops, it is a 2.5 day program. But that teaches the basics, in which with the basics, you can do a lot. You can do some
Right.
really incredible healings. And then what I offer is, if people want to, then I will mentor them for 6 months. And during the 6 months, I will work with them. I will challenge them. I will bring them opportunities to do the healing work and to experience it. And I will, insist that they practice on anybody and everybody that they can, animals, as well as people. And it's neat and it's amazing. And one of the things, I don't go out there to make everybody healers like me. Every single person, has their own gifts and their own talents. And that's something that I'm unique with, is that I can see how each person heals. And so what I do is I help them be the best healer that they can be in their way. And they can learn from me, and
Wow.
they can learn from others, because it is amazing. And I love the process. I love to see what can happen. And like you had talked about Elisa, she, they told her she would never walk again. They told her that she would never, stand, all these different things. Now she's standing.
Yes.
She's dancing. She walked on the stage when you had seen her,
Yes,
Uh,
Global Vision Conference. She walked across the stage, and last year they were saying last year that a couple of guys had to help her, like literally lift her onto stage.
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
That's incredible.
It has been amazing to see her progress. And she, we talked on her birthday on Monday, and she is still doing more and more and more, and we're going to be working together again. So she wants to be able to walk completely, and I think it's there. I think it's completely possible. So
I'd imagine.
mhm.
That is absolutely incredible. So yeah, going on to the specific topic of self-love. Um, because I know we talked about prior to the show a little bit of how we can approach this in like a genuinely what is the word I'm looking for? Uh unique way.
Mhm.
Because we have the same topics every week, but we always like to keep it fresh and new. And you had said you mentioned something about loving yourself more deeply than just on the surface, more than just saying I love you to yourself, like in the mirror or something.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, did you have specific tips or something? Sorry, go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, one is when we have this the self-loathing, when we don't like ourselves, when we're questioning ourselves, what I ask people to do is take that time and take that energy and look to see, it's like, okay, what are the thoughts that are coming up? And just really spend that time and see what it is. And very often, but not all the time, there'll be a worthiness problem, and I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not, tall enough. These different things that we had learned from our parents and our teachers when we were young. And so what I ask people to do is look, and especially in your relationships. Okay, so look at your relationships, and what are the things in your relationships that hurt you the most? What are the things that when you're in a relationship, you look and it's like, dang, this always happens to me. For example, mine is that my habit is that I get in relationships where women love me like crazy until they abandon me, or they love me like crazy until they betray me. And that's my fault. Okay, that's my issue, and that's what I get to heal. And I'm getting better and better at it. But it's one of those things where I'm also a fixer and a doer, and being that I'm a healer as well, it's my predisposition to do that, to heal them and to save them. And so, again, that's my issue, and I get to look at it. So, what I ask people is, when you're filled with that self loathing, that self doubt, what are the stories that you're telling yourself? And chances are it's going to be something like, I'm not good enough. It'll never be for me. And, and be with that. And you can actually, touch your heart, you can touch your belly when you're thinking about these. And when you touch your heart and you touch your belly, and then you try and say them to yourself, they're not going to hold true. You're not going to be able to say it because your body knows the truth. And that's one of the things that's really important. And so when I tell people, it's like, when you do your affirmations, if anybody wants to, they can send me an email at joe@profoundly living and say power poses. And what I can do is I can send, or power positions, I'll send you those out. And what they are is, they're simple hand positions that when you do them, you will instantly add energy to your body. And so, and to your emotions. And when you do these and then you say the affirmations, they're going to hold a lot stronger. And but what I suggest is that if you aren't going to get a coach, get 2 or 3 friends, get them together, have a phone conference or a Zoom conference, and say, hey, this is what I want to work on. This is what I want to improve. I know that these are the issues that I fall down on all the time. I know these are the things that make me hurt all of the time. And so I want to work on those and then really commit to it and get that support either from your coach or from your friends, and have the allies where you challenge yourself and they can challenge you as well. And they can hold you to the point of speaking the truth about yourself. And because it can knock all of us down to our knees. And, they talk about the fact that it takes a village to raise a child, and it does. We all need that support. And when you look at all the studies about addictions and such like that, what they have found out is that there's more often than not a lack of community. They don't have anybody that they can connect to. They don't have anybody that they can talk to. And that's where the addiction comes into play, is they do that. And so if you form a community of people that you can love and trust and really get naked with your soul and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and have that positive support, and have it be where it's truly positive support. Because when people come in there and they start to kind of lambast you or rah, 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 you can do better than this, what's wrong with you, that kind of stuff, it's like, okay, hold on a second. If that was some of their original programming, if that was some of their original wound, all you're doing is slapping them in the face and kicking them in between the legs, and that's not going to help them. But if you can be that supportive person and say, hey, what is it? What's your goal? What is your goal? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that what you want to feel? And how can we do that right now? So it's powerful. Mm-hmm. Does that?
Well, yeah, that is powerful, and I don't even know who it was, but I heard someone talking about the fact that I think it was just randomly on the TV, but the fact that they found this place, this random place, and on in the world, and they had the I don't remember how this the highest death rate. So like they were the oldest people when they
Oh,
died,
okay.
and the thing that they had in comparison to other places was community. And as that community got kind of intertwined, or there's another word I'd rather use, but it started getting the technology and everything
Mm-hmm.
with the new age world, America and everyone. It slowly, like, the numbers went down,
Mm-hmm.
and it lost it they lost their community. And that's like, I love I absolutely love that you mention it, because it's the whole purpose of the entire laws of community podcast that we're doing, and webcast. And even though things are changing up drastically, and we're not exactly doing what we planned in the first place, we're still helping, we're still being of service, we're still being of service to our community. And we're going to continue doing our webcasts, even if that means half of the time it is just me that's doing it. I'm fine with that. I mean, I hope everyone else is, but
Mm-hmm.
um
Well, and that's
so
something, and so everything starts with us. And so,
yeah,
since you're the laws of the community, it's one of those things where I would challenge you, and I would go, so, since Blanca's your producer, I would go, and it's just like, and her and whomever else get, 2 more people, maybe 3 more people, and challenge each other, because, oh, it's just going to be me. Excuse me, but, I mean, I would swear at you, I mean, it's just like, come on. I mean, you're this dynamic soul. Okay. You're this tiny little person in a body, but you're this dynamic soul. Okay. And so when I say dynamic, I would encourage you to look up the word, and then also look up in the thesaurus the supportive synonyms. Because
yeah,
if you start to realize that you're a dynamic soul, because when you were born, you were actually very vivacious and you rambunctious, and but it was one of those things where you wanted to bring joy to everybody. Okay, you still get to do
right,
that. When you were young, you were told to sit down, shut up, and behave. And so you lost a lot of that, but you were born to be a dynamic woman. Okay. And so being a dynamic woman and then being a dynamic leader, that's what I would look at too, and look up that word. What the heck does it mean to be a leader? And allow yourself
yeah,
to basically write that down and allow yourself to fill that form up, because that is who you are. And so and think about it. And when you start to diminish yourself, when you start to talk negative about yourself, the next time you see a little girl at the playground or in the grocery store line, just realize it's like, oh wow, I insulted you today. It's like,
Right.
well, you would never, ever, ever do that. So
Yeah.
why do we do it to ourselves? You know?
Yeah.
So
And I would encourage anyone to do a um like, oh, I don't even know the word of it. But I did a meditation one time where I literally visited with my younger self at a playground, and it was very like, uh I don't even know the word for it, but I was literally in front of her and I was like bawling my eyes out because I was like, why would I do this to this poor little girl? So yeah, if you get a chance to do a meditation like that and visit with your child self, that is
mhm,
very powerful.
mhm.
Um, However, I did want to mention, we've had going across the bottom this whole time something about some kind of webinar that you're doing. So
Yeah,
do you want to share
sure.
a little bit more
Yeah,
about that?
sure. The webinar is Live into Your Divine Feminine, and it's your divine feminine, your way. And I've been working with women for over 22 years in the healing work, and 98% of my clients are women. And what we are going to talk about is how you can feel physically safe instantly. There's different techniques that you can actually feel your safety, and then also getting in connection with your own physical intuition. How do you know if it's in your highest good to date this person or date that person, or is the relationship safe? Is the relationship worth my effort and time? Those kinds of things. And then we're going to talk also about cramps and bloating and PMS and hot flashes and lack of libido and sore sex, or painful sex. We're going to talk about all of those kinds of issues. And it's a very sacred environment, and it's a very good container. And the last time I did it, it was fantastic. And so I was encouraged to do it again, and I'm really looking forward to it. Mhm.
Yes, awesome. And that is coming up directly or an hour after
Yep, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 8
8
p.m.
p.m.
Eastern
Eastern.
time, to 9:30 Eastern time. And the link is down
Right.
on the bottom to register. It's only $39 for the time. And I'm one that it's a true informational and inspirational webinar. I do not believe in having you come on, waste your time, and have me be an infomercial. It's like, no, I want to give you content. I want to give you useful, usable techniques right now, and if you then choose to work with me, fantastic. But I want to be able to be of service and really deliver something that you can use today. So,
Wow. I absolutely love that. And that's always the best part. Like, and something obviously most wanted when you do any kind of event is like, especially with America today. I don't know why that just came into my mind, but everyone's like, because I just thought about like, gimme, 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 like they just want you to give you things. Um, so yeah, give me, $39, Joe, and then you can go and enjoy this tonight. And after hearing you talk about it so amazingly, like it kind of sounds like so you've only done it one other time, right?
well, I've been teaching a variety of it, but it's something that I always use this in my workshops. And so I've been teaching this for a very, very long time. But
Okay.
putting it out in the webinar in the format that I have, it's new.
Right.
Hmm.
Yes. And
Hmm.
it's so this is definitely like a once in a lifetime event that you don't know if you're gonna keep doing these or you this could be the last one. So we definitely need to get in it today, right, Joe?
Well, I'll probably teach it again, but what it is you want to look at it, and for yourself, for example, it's something where you're young, and like when I was sick and I went to the healer. One of the things that had happened is I was going through a really nasty divorce, and they were using the illness that I had to keep my daughters away from me. And I knew
Wow.
that I was going to lose the ability to be with my daughters for a couple of weeks, but I needed to do this for my healing. And it's like, okay, if I do this now, what will happen? Because if I waited a couple of months, it's like, hey, I would have lost a couple of months. So
Right.
what I ask you to do is like, look at investing for you now. And if you can tap in, one of the things that we're going to talk about is the archetypes. And the archetypes basically are all different. There are 7 different aspects of the divine feminine. And we're going to talk about each of those because each of them have a blessing that they come with. Okay. And what you can do is you are a mixture of these, and everybody's going to be a completely different mixture. You're going to be different than Blanca, for example. And both of you are incredible, wonderful women. And so using your mixture and feeling in and saying, hey, you know what? So, for example, one of the things, for yourself is definitely. And it's very interesting because if you would look, you would think that Blanca would be the queen. Okay, but Blanca is more the sage and she's the maiden. You're more the queen. And it's interesting because the queen is about partner, it's about connection, and it's about the community bringing everybody up. So Blanca is one where she's the sage. She's so full of wisdom that she comes in there with her wisdom and does that. And then she's also got, part of the mother in it, and where she wants to be able to take care of everybody and nurture everybody. And she's definitely got a shit ton of huntress in her. The huntress is, where she protects the underdog, okay, and she protects the marginal, things like that. You're more the maiden. You're more the romantic one. You're the more the sensual one, the trusting and that kind of thing. And so when we understand these and we realize these are some of the best parts about me, and we hold that up, then it's easier to hold and keep that forward progress. Where
Mm,
when we don't have anything to lean onto, we kind of feel like we're spinning our wheels sometimes.
you're exactly right. Well, I mean, on that note, I guess I just gotta be there tonight, right?
Yeah, well, the link is there, and we can definitely, I can send that to you, and totally.
Most definitely. So I had one last question, and I think someone had mentioned it on one of your links that you posted, but how did you, as a man, end up having mostly female clients? Just, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like make it
No,
uncomfortable.
no, that's, well, when I learned that I had this ability, I put out the prayer and intention to only see what I need to see, hear what I need to hear, feel what I need to feel, and then only say
Mm,
only say the words the person needs to hear in order for their healing. And I put the prayer out to be of service. And it is something in Native American, they talk about the fact that when somebody does the healing work, they no longer become male and they no longer become female. They're this open, clear white spot, this white energy. And so I've been able to do that when I do the healing work. And it's also when I did this, I take it seriously. I see it as very, very sacred. Energy work should be, when everybody and their mother's doing it, I just want to cry sometimes because it's no, this is serious stuff. When you're letting me see you this deeply, I'm seeing your diary. I'm seeing your the truest and the dearest parts about you, and so I have to hold that sacred, and that's something that I've been able to do. And there's in Minnesota, there was a variety of women's groups that started to find out about me, and the leaders of those groups had their women come to me for healing sessions as part of the process, and so it just mushroomed from there.
wow, that's powerful. Yeah, even as a tarot reader, I may have had like a reading. I know I've had a reading from Ron. Um, I may have had one from my late husband, but other than that, I don't usually approach people. And when I've been to one other healer or two other healers, but oh yes, I've had another. Okay, but nonetheless, when I went and I was like, it's a really hard time. Like, I just popped by the market. I guess I'll do a reading. She's like, I know exactly who to take you to, and it was someone I'd previously worked with, and I was like, oh my gosh, the universe works in mysterious ways, and but yeah, I definitely don't just go to anyone, and I have not tried to offer any other services myself because I know I'm not ready and I need to do a lot more learning before I do that.
Hmm.
That is 100% sure. But nonetheless, we are basically out of time, and I know you probably have plenty to do before you get started in like an hour and a half with your class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been like the most incredible. This was even better than I imagined it would be. I
Well, thank
really,
you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
of course. All right, and we will definitely be in touch more.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Well, alrighty, guys. Good night, guys. See you next week for another episode.